Now that the cryptocurrency industry is maturing, competition between cryptocurrency exchanges and other kinds of virtual asset service providers, or VASPs, a number of exchanges have even been forced to shutter their doors as a result of low trading volume. Therefore, building a solid strategy for onboarding and retaining users is vital. While Bitcoin may still occasionally boom, the hype that brought hundreds of thousands of new users clambering into the space in late 2017 is unlikely to ever return. Recently, finance magnate spoke to Kris Marszalek, CEO of the Hong Kong-based virtual asset service provider ecosystem Crypto.com. The ecosystem includes an exchange app, an MCO Visa card, and the Crypto.com blockchain, which powers Crypto.com Pay. Crypto.com also recently launched Pay Your Friends, a crypto-based social payments app similar to Venmo. We asked Marszalek how Crypto.com is working to create brand loyalty, how volatility affects trading behavior, and what really matters when it comes to user metrics.
Okay, so can you start out by just telling our listeners a little bit about who you are and the work that you do?
Sure. So I'm the CEO and co-founder of Crypto.com, and our vision is cryptocurrency in every wallet. And why we think it's really important that it happens is because the company was founded on the belief that it's just your basic human right to control your money, data, and identity. Mm-hmm. And I think that blockchain technology has the potential to restore a little bit of balance to how money, data, and identity are being controlled. In the recent years, there were so many examples of overreach by large institutions, also governments, in some cases. So we think that this is going to become increasingly more important to everyone, and we can, by building on top of blockchain and crypto, we can actually build better products and help make the society a little bit more healthy than it is today.
Okay, so is that something that is coming from like a personal belief? Did you, when you were founding Crypto.com, did you start with this idea of, identity protection and privacy, the human rights, or were you starting from, more of the financial side of things and then also branched your interest into privacy?
No, we always start with the customer, right? Mm-hmm. So how can we solve real customers' problems and give them a product that is simply better? If we focus on the financial services side, so can we provide instant loans? Can we provide better interest rates? Can we allow people to get better rewards when they pay? Can we make payments as a whole instantaneous and nearly free for merchants, right? So we just look at the customer and their needs first. And as it turns out, blockchain and cryptocurrencies as building blocks, they allow you to be very innovative and just simply build better products for the customers, right? Mm-hmm. But as you start to dig deeper into the tech, and you will understand that the potential is really profound. And I think where the industry is today, where it's unfortunately still mostly about trading and speculation, and the price movements that you mentioned, it's easy to lose the sight of the bigger picture. And it's the bigger picture that will actually make cryptocurrency go from today. We've got 50 million, a little over 50 million users globally. You need to address people's fundamental problems in order to get to 500 million, 1 billion users globally, right? But we don't start with anything else than looking at what are the needs and how can we satisfy those needs using this technology.
Right. So can you tell us a little bit more about on the practical side of things? So we know more about Crypto.com's mission at this point. So
Yeah.
that translated to on the practical side of things.
Yeah, sure. So our basic product is the Crypto.com app, which is now over 1 million users. And what is it is paired with a cryptocurrency card that runs on the Visa network. So together, what it gives you is the ability to earn up to like 5% cash back every time you spend money. You can earn interest on cryptocurrency deposits of up to 8%, which is much more favorable than what banks give you today. We've got over-collateralized loans that are instantly issued through the app. We've also got a simple robo-advisor that allows you to build a crypto portfolio easily. Mm-hmm. And of course, all the basic functionality of buying cryptocurrency with credit card or bank transfer. We've got 50 coins on the app, and you can trade between them. So that's also covered, right? Mm-hmm. So it's a very powerful suite of products that, as it is today, I think there's nobody else in the market that has it all in one place.
Okay. And so are you primarily serving clients in the APAC region, or where are your clients primarily?
Yeah, so the app is available in 70, 80 countries globally, but most of the user base is in the US and Europe, roughly, 1/3 each, and the rest is in APAC. Now we've got in terms of the Visa card itself, it's currently shipping to users in the United States and in Singapore. Mm-hmm. And we're going to begin shipping to customers in Europe later this year.
Okay, very exciting. Yeah. So you've got this new product called Pay Your Friends. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and how it works?
That's one of the features of our app. And the easiest way to think about it is it's just a crypto version of Venmo. So what we want to do is, now that we've got 1 million people on the platform, we want to create a habit for them that whenever they need to pay their friends back, they shouldn't be paying them back using Venmo type apps in fiat. Instead, it's a good opportunity to introduce someone to crypto and pay them back in crypto. Mm-hmm. We've got 50 different currencies. So, if you want to make sure that they receive the exact amount in like dollars, whatnot, you can use a stable coin. You don't have to pay people in Bitcoin or some of the other volatile assets, right? But we just want to make sure that people who are the early adopters of crypto have a simple tool to just, get their friends into it. And I think it's a win-win because you've got some cashback rewards on this, and we also give rewards for signing your friends up in general. So it makes financial sense. So it's incentivized. But I think it just falls so nicely into our mission of growing the adoption of crypto, and we understand that we can't do it ourselves. We need to get the support of our entire community.
Right. Yeah. So I want to talk to you a little bit about, how you're getting new people into the cryptocurrency market, because, obviously it's great for us in the cryptocurrency industry, people who are working here, when we see products like Pay Your Friends that are, designed to make using crypto a little bit more easily. But the challenge is always, why should somebody use something like this instead of something like Venmo or PayPal that uses fiat cryptocurrency? So you mentioned that you've got some incentives to get people to send crypto to their friends. Can you talk a little bit more about your strategy for bringing new people into the crypto sphere?
Yeah, there's always two things to think about here. One is the user experience and how you design it. So it needs to be smooth and really effortless. And the second one is the financial incentives. So we apply the same thinking to most of our products. So if with this Pay Your Friends feature, you're going to get a few percent cash back every time you pay people back. You also get up to $50 sign up if your friends are new to the platform. They're going to sign up and get our Visa card, right? So there are some real financial incentives here.
Yeah.
But it's the same with most of our products. Like our Visa card has got awesome perks, metal card. The mid-tier range cards got like 3% cashback on all transactions, which is very attractive. And you can go to the lounge for free at 800 airports. Pay your Spotify and whatnot. So there's a lot of cool.
I'm going to be signing up for this card.
Yeah, and you should. And once you receive it, it's a beautifully designed, well-crafted metal card. It comes in great packaging. You see, it's just whole brand experience, and you can emotionally connect with it. And it's our community is very proud of the products that we're building, and essentially, once they become advocates for a brand, then they onboard their friends, and we just try our best to continue improve the products and give it more functionality without adding more complexity, so people get more and more reasons to use it every day. And I think this iterative approach, will just very rapidly improve your product, works extremely well in this space. And right now as a company, we've got almost 200 people, and we set up the entire organization to really use the data that we see from the usage in our platform, and then roll out new ideas for product improvement very quickly, and then test it, see the usage again, and just keep on iterating like this. So what you end up having, if you have this type of approach where you look at user experience design, incentives, and rapid iteration with data in mind, you get a very sticky product where people just stay in your ecosystem. They don't churn as much as they would otherwise. And over time, it creates a very powerful platform. So again, you can see that the vision is you get to work on something that has the potential to have an impact on the world and make it a little bit better, right? But in order to make it happen, you need to take care of all these nitty-gritty details. It's just a lot of plumbing that is not very glamorous, but it makes your product better every single day. And if you extrapolate this 3 years, 5 years down the road, you get a chance to onboard tens of millions of people onto the platform.
Right, exactly. And I think that's something that's sort of lacking in the cryptocurrency industry. I mean, we're seeing more of it now, but people create these products that are sort of very technically adept, let's say, and then these nitty-gritty details, as you mentioned, are sort of left to the wayside. And so you've got a product that maybe functions very well at its core, but for everyday people, it's something that doesn't look familiar. Like you mentioned, even something like having a beautiful card is something that can attract users and make users want to use the product more often. But I think that kind of attention to detail is often missing in the crypto space.
Yeah, I think generally speaking, the entire space is guilty of not investing enough in user experience. That's what it comes down to it. There's a lot of incredible engineering talent in this space, but there's just a very select few companies in this whole space that spend time to think about user experience.
Right. Can you tell us how many users approximately Crypto.com has at the moment?
Yeah, we just hit a milestone in September of 1 million users on the platform.
Okay.
So it's a big milestone. I mean, the company started in mid 2016, but these are complex products that we're building. So the app only got released in May 2018.
Right.
So it's growing quite well. We're very happy with how people use it in terms of stickiness of the product. I think this is the key point, because people tend to focus too much on on vanity metrics and not enough on what really matters. And I think the stickiness of the product determines whether you're going to be here, 5 years later or not.
Right. So when you say vanity metrics, do you mean like, a platform will say, oh, we have 6 million users, but really only, 500,000 of those users are active? Is that?
Yeah, that's one of the things. But the other thing is that people just tend to throw out the biggest number they can find, and it might be that you have 5 million registered users, but some of them may be registered in 2013 and already forgot about your brand 3 years ago and whatnot, right? So again, I think the focus should be always on making sure that you've got high stickiness of your product, that your NPS scores are improving. There's this good trick that we use where you can ask your customers, how would you feel if starting tomorrow you can't use the product anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if like 40% plus tells you that they will be extremely disappointed, then you're onto something.
Aha. Okay. I see. That's very smart.
Yeah. It's, and using this type of customer centricity is really, I think, generally speaking, in our industry, is still missing, because we just went through this huge hype of 2017, the bull run, and then the bear market, right? There's still not too many companies that focus relentlessly on the customer, right? Mm-hmm. So for our philosophy is very, very simple. We're building the products, that's one thing, but we're building an organization, a company that will be able to build those new features and improve the product constantly at a speed that no other company in this space can match. So I'm less interested in what does the product look like today, because the space is super fast moving. It's really evolving incredibly fast. Mm-hmm. No matter which angle you look at it, from a regulatory standpoint, from technology standpoint, just the general market is just changing rapidly, right? So I even though we're quite proud of what we've built so far, and I think the product is very useful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned briefly earlier, the importance of privacy to Crypto.com. So I'm curious what measures Crypto.com is taking in order to protect its users' privacy when it comes to data.
Yeah. So I think you would be hard-pressed to find companies who spend more time thinking about this than us. We at a very basic level, right, the infrastructure is set up in a secure way. So we are ISO 27001 certified. We're the first cryptocurrency company globally to get the certification for the entire business. So that's in terms of data management and information security systems. This is the golden standard. Mm-hmm. We've got a card business, so we are PCI DSS level 1 certified as well. Mm-hmm. We also have the level 3 certification for cryptocurrency security standards, right? So we've got like basically every single aspect of protecting the company from cybersecurity threats and making sure that your private and sensitive data is well protected. We've implemented this, and we are committed to continued investment in people, technology, and process to make sure that your data is safe. Obviously, we were GDPR compliant on day one. We're following all this process that if you want to have your data deleted, we just follow all the rules. And it's actually very hard to have this type of commitment to excellence in privacy and cybersecurity, and at the same time iterate on your product very rapidly. You need to build a certain culture in the company to be able to maintain speed and compliance at the same time. So I think we're quite unique in this respect.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that that is sometimes not very popular with crypto, with hardcore crypto crowd, is like from day one we've taken the approach that compliance comes first. So like every single customer on the platform is KYC. We've got a very robust AML KYC setup that was reviewed by a Big Four firm. We're working with large financial institutions, so we need to make sure that everything we do is compliant, right? And so, if there's always a number of people who just don't want to even provide an email address in order to use the product. That's not what you can do on our platform today. Although what we have on the roadmap is a chain wallet product, so it's basically a fully decentralized on-chain solution where the requirements are going to be slightly lighter, and you can interact with the on-chain products without submitting details of your personal information. But we are trying our very best to build a highly secure platform that is built to last. I think the approach is built to last. I don't think there's any other way to build a business that can help drive the adoption. Because otherwise, if you take any other approach, you're just building castles in sand.
So I'm curious. So you've got this great product. You've got this platform that, as you said, is attracting lots of users who regularly use the platform. As over the course of the last, let's say, year and a half, 2 years, as the cryptocurrency markets have gone through such wide price valuation swings, how has that volatility affected the way that people use the platform? And do you think that, more volatility sort of creates a barrier to spending cryptocurrency, or do you think that it doesn't really affect the way that people use crypto?
Well, where the market is today is that more volatility equals more activity on the platform. Because again, for vast majority of users today, this is a new asset class that they invest in to get a return. So it's quite counterintuitive. But for example, BTC dropped 20% last week, right? For us as a platform, on that day, we see like much more activity than on a regular day where the price goes up by 2%, for example.
Okay.
That's how it works. And we see patterns like in behavior, like if it drops, some people sell, some people buy more, and when it goes up, then some people convert to fiat and spend some on their card. Right, so there are those patterns of behaviors. I think that the volatility is it's a feature. It's not a bug, and it's just it's high right now because of this market is still very small, right? So the liquidity in the market is low, even for Bitcoin itself. It's you can move entire market with $100 million. It's very, very small. So, but it has proven time and time again that crypto just can't be killed. It will survive no matter what kind of drop-offs you will have and whatnot. It will always bounce back. So I think we are, after Mt. Gox collapsed, in early 2014. I mean, there was like gloom and doom, and is crypto going to survive? I mean, after 2017, when in the beginning of 2018 price started to drop, nobody ever questioned whether crypto is going to survive.
Mm-hmm.
It's a completely different story, right? So I think it's very important that people understand that this is just a phase that we're in. Once as the market matures and the infrastructure is built by a company like us and many others, there are people solving problems with digital asset custody, other people onboarding large financial institutions that will bring in more liquidity. There are large consumer brands like Samsung deploying wallets into. If you just get the Samsung Note 10, our cryptocurrency CRO is by default available in their wallet right now. That is preloaded on the phone. Right? It's just awesome. And since Apple tends to follow everything that Samsung does, I fully accept within 2 years it's going to be on iPhone 2. And then you've got the slightly controversial, but good for the market in general, the Facebook announcement about the cryptocurrency, right? So all these things together will increase the liquidity in the market for cryptocurrencies, and with increased liquidity, volatility is going to reduce. In the meantime, you've got this the solution of stable coins, right, which are price stable digital assets tied to USD or Euro or other local currencies. So if somebody doesn't want the volatility, they don't need it. They can just move to something stable. Right. So the perception is there, but for people who are within the industry, they understand that you can get as much volatility as you need and as little as you need. It's just up to you.
Right. That's a really good point. So I want to ask you, speaking about price movements, how did the crypto winter, this long period of price drops that we had last year, how did that affect crypto.com? And what was your, there's been a lot of exchanges, particularly in the APAC region, that have definitely shut down due to low trading volume and just because cryptocurrency trading is not as profitable as it used to be. So what was your survival strategy through that period? How were you affected by that?
Our strategy was very simple: keep your head down and keep building. Right. So throughout the bear market, we've increased our user base by a factor of 5. We've increased our headcount by a factor of 3. Right, we've built so much. I actually love the bear market. I love it, and here's why.
Yeah.
In 2017, there was just so much hype and so much marketing, and there's plenty of stuff that didn't make sense. But to an outside observer, you just you don't know what is the hype and who is doing the real thing, right? And now, as we're approaching 2020, I think it's clear to everyone, and with naked eye, you can see who delivers and who doesn't.
Right.
And this is great. This helps to remove all this, fluff from the market. It's just has no right to be here. It's not unique to cryptocurrency space. In all fairness, and if you look at 1999, this irrational exuberance with internet boom and all the stocks going, up, right? It's 98% of the companies that were hitting all-time highs at the time are just gone today, right? But there's select few that were founded in those days that now are just have a lot of impact on the whole world, right? So I think with cryptocurrency is going to be exactly. The history doesn't repeat itself, but it kind of rhymes, right? it's going to be pretty much the same thing. You'll see a few companies coming out of that bull of 2017 and building really impactful products and really making a difference. But of course, you need to show a little bit of patience and see what happens in the next 10 years or so to really figure out who those companies are. I mean, it wasn't really obvious that Amazon is such a huge winner even in 2007, 2008, right?
Right, yeah.
It's only right now that you can see after almost 20 years that was it. And there's really a potential for blockchain and crypto to give birth to one of those companies that will really change how things, how this world works.
Right, exactly. And that's really refreshing to hear, that we need to think, 5, 10, even 20 years into the future when it comes to this industry, and not just, even though things are moving so fast, as you said earlier, like we can't sort of end, the long view at 2 years down the road, which seems like a long time for the cryptocurrency industry, but
yeah, it's it's actually quite funny, but people tends to focus on the 1 minute chart on the BTC USD pair, right? That's the kind of horizon we're looking at, right? But nothing really meaningful can be built overnight.
Yeah, and it's just so in line with this age of social media and short attention spans that are kind of that sort of mindset is so prevalent in our society right now, that we want things that are immediately gratifying and anyway.
Yeah.
So, but thinking on a little bit, let's say more locally in terms of time, what's on the horizon for Crypto.com over the course of the next year?
So we are building an entire ecosystem, right? So if you go to Crypto.com, you should be able to satisfy all your crypto needs. So there's quite a number of big milestones for us. We're also building, our own chain, which is now in public testnet phase. Next year, there's going to go into mainnet phase, and you could think the easiest way to think about it would be that this is a replacement of networks like Visa or MasterCard. So we know how these works obviously very well because we have a product that runs on top of it, right? And the difference with this one is that merchants don't need to spend 3% of their flows on payment fees, and instead of waiting days for settlement, this settles in seconds. But the technology itself, however, can also power things like decentralized finance, and we can actually rebuild a lot of the experience that we have right now in a custodial wallet app in a non-custodial fashion with our own public chain. So this is very exciting. This is obviously a very ambitious project. Again, if you want to build a payment network that's at the very minimum, it's 7 to 10 years, right? And we are now at a year and a half in, so it's very early. But this is something super exciting, and it allows us to attract very ambitious technical talent. So that's something that is really big. We've got a very busy roadmap, and a few large announcements coming out later this year. But I'm just my team is sitting in the room. My CMO is just crossing his hands right now. I'm just like no,
please, no, stop. Okay.
I have a very good track record of spilling the beans.
Okay.
Well, you know me.
Yeah, be sure to let us know when those are.
Yeah. But we try to keep a lot of discipline and only announce stuff that is, that is done and dusted and ready to go. And one of the reasons is that, we've got cryptocurrencies that are trading 24/7, and some of this stuff is price sensitive. So we want to, even though, those are not securities, those are cryptocurrencies, but still we want to maintain a level playing field for everyone. And don't hype it up. Instead, there's build, release, and once it's done, you announce. Yeah.
Right. So, and I want to ask you briefly about what it's been like to be a cryptocurrency company that's based in Hong Kong, given the fact that, in 2017, we had these bans from the Chinese government on the cryptocurrency industry. And since then, a lot of companies have established themselves, reestablished headquarters offshore, or moved, or, somehow had to restructure their business so that they weren't violating the laws. How has that affected your business, and how do you see the blockchain industry in Hong Kong in general?
Oh, that's a great question. So, in fact, there's a lot of large blockchain businesses in Hong Kong. And just from the top of the mind, right? You've got BitMEX headquartered here, the #1 derivatives platform.
Yeah.
The main R&D center for Cardano, ADA, one of the top 10 currencies, is here. Block One, that raised $4 billion in the largest ICO ever. They're here. You've got obviously the exchanges. All the large Chinese exchanges have their presence here. We're here. There's a few local players that have long history in this industry, like AMX. The ecosystem is quite strong, and I think the reason is that Hong Kong is just a great place to be in this space. You've got who come from the finance industry and very talented and not very happy about working for a bank. So there's a talent pool here, right, that you can tap into. There's freedom in terms of doing business, in terms of capital flows, travel, it's world-class city. Very vibrant, very very fast, and people love working on new stuff and ambitious projects here and get things done. Simply the Hong Kong spirit of getting things done. So I think also one of the challenges when you work here is that technical talent at the highest level is very scarce and sought after, right? It's only a 7 million people city, but you've got China across the border, 1.5 hours from our office to Nanshan, which is like the Silicon Valley of China. And if you need, that's what we are doing. We set up an office there, and we're scaling our engineering team on the other side of the border, and just next door to our office is like Tencent's office with 100,000 engineers in it, right? So that solves this problem a little bit, right? But it's a great place to do business, and obviously, as a backdrop of this conversation, is I don't think that the 2017 China ban, which was one of many bans before, but the complete ban of crypto had any effect on companies operating here. It had effect on exchanges operating in China, so they had to move offshore, right? But not for companies operating in Hong Kong.
Right.
What we are seeing this year is, that we're now, as all the employers here, if you watch the news, the Hong Kong protests, I think that has much more impact on what we do than than the China ban in 2017. And the reason is actually very simple. Even though things here work, the brand damage that the city has suffered in the last few months, it's deep. So it's not as easy for us to recruit people from around the world and convince them to come to work here. And I don't think we're alone in this sentiment. And luckily we've built a very strong team, and we've got like 19 different nationalities in the company, and we've done it before this happened, because I think it is very difficult for people to recruit from overseas and convince people to move to Hong Kong today because of the political uncertainty and the ongoing protests. But anyway, I think having been here since 2003, one thing that I've learned is you just never bet against Hong Kong people, because this is a resilient bunch, very gritty, very smart, very hardworking, and these things eventually are going to be resolved, and the city will come out stronger. The space always bounces back.
Absolutely. Kris, thank you so much for your time. It's been such a pleasure to speak with you.
Very nice connecting, Rachel, and hope to see you in person at some point.